How do I find my purpose as a young person in life? Navigating life's direction and finding your purpose can be a difficult thing to do, especially at a young age. So as someone who used to struggle with this and used to cause me a lot of problems, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression to not realizing what I wanted to do and what I wanted to pursue, but when I was able to find out and lean into what I wanted to do, I felt a lot of those feelings go away and reside. So throughout this video, I'm going to share 3 points that I think are really helpful to finding your purpose and how to lean into that. The first thing is completely action-based, and then everything builds on top of that. So you're going to want to stay through all 3 points throughout this video. And I promise you, as a young person, by the end of this video, you will understand how to find your direction and find your purpose and feel a lot better about it. With that being said, my name is Richardson. I'm a coach here at Life on Your Terms, and I make these videos to pass on the knowledge and the experiences that I've had to hopefully help you understand them quicker than I ever could have. So with that, the first thing that you need to do to find your purpose as a young person is to try things. And it's really as simple as that. Is that your purpose won't just come to you by sitting on it. You're not just going to be sitting at your desk like I am right now and be like, oh, that is what I want to do. The only way you're going to find that out is by going and actively trying different things. Because by trying things, you'll find a lot about it yourself. You'll find, oh, I really don't like that. Or, wow, that kind of captivates my attention. And that's what I encourage you to focus on, is what holds and captures your attention. So for me, what I found at a young age was that I really liked talking to people. So that indicated to me that I want to work with people in some way. And I'm going to build off of that. But the first thing is to understand what captivates your attention. So for me, it was talking through things with my friends and helping them work through it. So I realized what captivated me, and that's what helped me try that one thing and then move to another. Before we get into that and kind of specialize down into what may be your purpose or direction, one helpful activity when you try things is to think about these 4 situations. So if you had unlimited money, what would you buy? What would you do with it? If you had unlimited time, let's say someone came to you and said, hey, I'll pay you 200 grand a year, but you just have to be doing something you love. What would you do? If you had an expiration date, someone came to you and said, hey, you got 3 years to live. What would you do in that time? And if you were at your 100th birthday and you were hearing about all your achievements, your legacy, what would be some of the things you'd be hearing about, and what would you really enjoy hearing about? So by going through those 4 situations, it can be really helpful for you to identify and map those out and then be like, oh, you know what? If I had unlimited money, I would buy these things. Okay, I'm interested in those things. What should I do? Or, oh, if I had unlimited time, I'd be working on this one thing. What would I do? And that can help you lay out a plan and try new things. The second area to find your purpose as a young person is to gain more experiences in the areas that you've developed. So I'm going to build off my story throughout this video. So with me, I was like, okay, I really realized I like talking to my friends, especially about problems. So for me, it's like, okay, I like people over numbers for me. So then for people, then I like talking to people. And then from talking to people, I like to talk to them about problems. Okay, what careers can I do where I do that? Well, I could be a leader in a company, and that may come down the line, but there's a lot that it takes to get there. Or I could go be a therapist. And I was like, okay, I want to go to college to be a therapist. So I went to college, and then in the middle of college, I was like, you know what? I want to start helping people today. So I'm going to start my own coaching business. And that's where I'm at now, is that I can do very similar things as a coach. I can't do exactly what a therapist does, but I can do very similar things, and I feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose. And I will tell you that you can have a similar journey to this. You can identify people or numbers and then move through that. How do you like to interact with people, or how do you like to interact with numbers, and be able to work through those things that can help you gain more experiences in the areas and niche down into something that you feel like is your purpose, and it's something that you feel like you can change the world with because you're a missionary about it. So to ask yourself from there to gain more experiences is, what experiences do you need to give yourself the knowledge of, is this the right direction or is this the wrong direction? So for me, I went from talking to people about their problems. Okay, what more experiences do I need? Well, I may need to start learning about psychology, learning about what therapists do. So for you, you can apply the same logic, is what experiences do you need to understand, is this the right direction for you? And I promise you, as you experience more of this stuff, as you get good, you'll start to like it more. And you'll probably feel like it's your purpose. You'll lean into it more. So for example, with me, is that I knew I wanted to be a therapist. And I will tell you, when I first started coaching, obviously I wasn't good at it. And when I wasn't good at it, I didn't like it near as much as I've thought. But as I've gotten better, as I've grown as a coach, I've liked it a lot more. So I hold that principle that I would think would be true. I mean, that's just my experience, but in my experience, that's what I found. So as you gain more experience in areas, you may also find that traveling or novel experiences outside of work are very helpful. So for example, if you're able to travel the world for a month, or maybe just go to one location for a month alone, you'll learn a lot about yourself. On top of that, maybe you can take some novel experiences outside of work. I have a client who did a waltzing class, and he doesn't necessarily have interest in dancing or waltzing, but for him, he learned a lot about himself through something and putting himself out there. So maybe if you can experience some novel things, that can be really helpful, especially outside of work. The third and the final piece of finding your purpose as a young person in life is mentorship and impact. Mentorship has been very, very helpful in my life. I have had a therapist for the last 6-7 years. I've had a coach mentor for the last 1.5 years, and they have both been so impactful in my life. And I would even consider my father a sort of mentor. I mean, that's his responsibility as a dad, but I feel like he has been my mentor. So what I'd encourage you to do is, if you can, lean into your parents, lean into therapists, lean into coaches, and find a way to take their wisdom and ask them questions to help you find your impact and find your purpose. Because talking out a lot of my ideas is why I think coaching and therapy is so valuable. It's not necessarily the coach and the therapist themselves. Obviously, you need that for them to ask you good questions, but I think being able to get your ideas out there is actually the real value. Hear it out loud from yourself is where the real value is derived from being a coach or being a therapist. So if you can lean into that, that can be helpful for you to identify your purpose through mentorship. And after you have these experiences, after you are able to identify your direction and then gain more experiences in those and then talk it out loud, you will start to find the impact that you want to make in this world. But unfortunately, you won't find it out right away. It may take years for you to understand, this is what I want to do and this is the impact I want to make. Even I'm not there yet. I'm not at the point where I'm like, this is exactly what I want to work on and this is the big problem I'm going to solve. Don't get me wrong, my focus currently is 16 to 18-year-olds who struggle with direction and feel lost in life, because I feel like I can talk about that. And that is the impact and the purpose I'm making today. But long term, I have a bigger purpose that I'm still yet to fulfill. And you may feel the same way, and that's completely okay. If you feel this way, I'd encourage you to take the balance wheel in the description below, because maybe right now your purpose is to just get in great health. Or maybe right now your purpose is to be a better family member, son, daughter, brother, sister, mom, dad, whatever it is. So I'd encourage you to take that, because that can lay out the areas of your life and how you feel about it. And if you like this video, hit that like and subscribe button, because it's very helpful.